Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, France plans to block the development of Libra in Europe. France, for one, does not seem all too happy about a major tech company like Facebook launching a cryptocurrency that could compete with something like the euro. France's finance minister Bruno over here went so far as to say monetary sovereignty of states is at stake. And guys, we're going to dive into this later in today's video because this doesn't only have implications for Libra. Keep in mind the eurozone makes up a quarter of the planet's gross domestic product. It also has big implications for cryptocurrencies in the future and their government's response to them. The same reason that France is not happy with Libra, that it is a threat to their monetary sovereignty, that same argument can be applied to Bitcoin, and it's an argument that we're going to see a lot more of coming into the 2020s as cryptocurrencies become more relevant and more adopted. But before we get into today's news, guys, we need to do something a little unconventional here on the chart. I want to show you this uptrend of support that I have plotted right here. This might not look like anything that important. It might just look like some line I drew, but I promise you guys, if you zoom out, all of a sudden it starts to make sense because Bitcoin has been testing this level of support and resistance as support and resistance for over 2 years, going back to the 1st of September when Bitcoin first hit $5,000 as an all-time high. This trend line has a very long history and seems to be very important in the Bitcoin market just as much today as it was in the beginning of 2018, halfway through 2018, and ever since. So guys, we're going to dive into this and talk about potential trades that we can make based on that. But before we get into it, if you do enjoy today's video, make sure you smash that like button. It really does help out the channel when you do that. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and drop us a like. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. First things first, credit must be given where credit is due. On Tuesday, 2 days ago, I was talking in the Discord server. I was in a voice call. I planned on being in it for about half an hour. We ended up going for 3 hours because I absolutely love talking to you guys. And Tess, who is our admin and resident expert technical analyst in the Discord server, pointed out this uptrend of support to me. And he only showed it going back to here, and I decided I was going to go ahead and plot it farther back and found all of these levels of support again. But he was talking about how Bitcoin was more than likely going to get a bounce here a couple of days ago when we were discussing this. Bitcoin had then come down to this level of support at $9,960. I was bouncing bullish. I was looking for Bitcoin to fall lower and start a new downtrend, but he realized just how important this uptrend of support was. It was something that I hadn't seen, and he was looking for either a long position or for Bitcoin to trade sideways. Now, I don't want to put any words in his mouth. Tess, if you're watching this video, feel free to correct me on anything I'm saying in the comment section down below. But he wasn't so sure that Bitcoin was going to go ahead and crash just yet like I was kind of thinking it was going to. And hey, guys, that's one of the most important things in technical analysis and anything in general is teamwork. He pointed something out that I hadn't seen. Sometimes I'll point something out that he might not see. It's really important that you can bounce off of people who are on a similar or higher level than you and also help people that are on a lower level than you. So kudos to him for pointing that out. He pointed out that Bitcoin had been getting a lot of support on this uptrend right here, for example, back on the 22nd of August, right here on the 25th, right here on the 15th. If we go to the 4-hour, we can see just how elegant this level of support and resistance is. Lots of support and resistance over here. Lots of support. We had resistance right here, resistance over here. If we go even further back into 2018, we see that when Bitcoin shot through the moon back over here on the 15th of October, tell me in the comments if you remember that. We had a level of resistance there, resistance here, and then this is about as far as he drew it back on June the 19th, but I decided that I was going to draw it back farther. We have support at $6,500 on the 1st of April. We have support at $6,000 on the 5th of February. We have support back over here at $5,500 on the 12th of November, support at $5,200 on the 18th of October, and support as far back as the 1st of September in 2017. And now that I've gone ahead and replotted this, I do remember this uptrend actually. Over a year ago on the channel, I was talking about this uptrend because we had a level of support here, resistance there, we had a support there, we had a support there, and we were actually using this uptrend as price targets back in June of last year, if I remember correctly. But guys, keep in mind that old trend lines, old technical analysis, it can come back and it can be important. Just because you haven't used it in 6 months or a year doesn't mean it's not relevant anymore. This is still relevant. And we've seen proof of that lately as Bitcoin has gotten a lot of support on this level. Even as recently as yesterday, Bitcoin tested support on this at around $10,000 and bounced, and over the last 8 hours or so, Bitcoin's been in an uptrend. I show you guys this uptrend of support for 2 reasons. One, it's cool, and I really want to share it. I love when technical analysis does this. I love when everything just kind of falls into place. This is one of those chart patterns that just feels right. It's clearly being respected by the market, so it's clearly something we need to look at. But I also want to use it as a teaching tool, guys. In the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, in the first video under the Technical Indicator section, this is a new video. We uploaded a video, How to Spot a Winning Indicator and Pattern. This is very clearly a winning pattern because it does one of the 2 things that I use as criteria in that video very well. In this video, which you can actually preview, by the way, if you click the link down below, you can watch this video as a preview to see what CT2A is actually like. In this video, I go over 2 different ways to determine what is a powerful technical indicator or pattern. 1, What is the history of that pattern? How often does Bitcoin respect it? Very clearly, this is a very well-respected technical indicator. It's been being respected for the last 2 years, guys. Clearly, its history is great. Bitcoin, whenever it's around it, it's normally using it as support or resistance. And the second way you can determine what is a powerful technical indicator or a powerful technical pattern is how many people are looking at it and how much trading volume is being based off of it. Now, that's one place that I think this uptrend falls a little short. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, so I don't really think there's a lot of volume being traded around it. But nevertheless, it's very clearly got a powerful history, so it's pretty obvious that it's going to be a relatively decent predictor of what Bitcoin is going to do. So with all that said, hopefully you realize what is important when looking for a technical indicator or pattern, and you can use that in the future. But what does that mean for our actual trading? Well, guys, this uptrend of support is really interesting because it's very clearly been supporting this market here over the last 2 months, and it went right under a lot of our noses. What I would say to do with this uptrend of support is use it in this way. If we go over to our other chart here on Coinbase, and we go ahead and redraw this uptrend, it's this one right here. What we can use this as is we can use it as a floor, where if Bitcoin goes below this, then we're probably heading all the way down to $9,300. If we break bearish below this, which right now it doesn't really look like we're going to, but if we do, then we could use it as a warning sign that we're coming all the way down here, and then we're going to be testing support around $9,300. If we fall below this, probably a good place to open a short position. Now, with that said, you do need to be careful with this uptrend of support as well, because since it's such an old technical indicator, and since not a whole lot of people are looking at it and trading based off of it, there are going to be some fluctuations in it. There are going to be some big wicks like we see here. Sometimes Bitcoin's going to briefly fall below it like we see here. So if you do open a short position, be sure that you're doing it manually. Don't let an automatic trade do it for you. Make sure you're there and you open it and you're using your stop losses properly. But to be honest, guys, with Bitcoin bouncing so bullish off of this, I'm not really convinced that we're going to see Bitcoin go down below this uptrend, at least for a day or two. We might in a little while, but for right now, it looks pretty secure. So guys, with that all said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the news. Tell me in the comment section down below if you enjoyed that technical analysis and if you're going to be looking at that chart pattern moving on into the future. Again, shout out to Tess, great technical analyst. He's in the Discord server. You can go and talk to him. He loves talking to people about technical analysis. If you want to join, the link is in the description down below. Anyway, moving on here, guys. This is an important news story for 2 reasons. Like I said, France cannot authorize Facebook's Libra development in Europe report. As we said in the intro, French Finance Minister Bruno, that is a tongue twister, states the monetary sovereignty of states is at stake because of Libra. The report notes his apparent resolute stance, delivering at the opening of the OECD Global Blockchain Policy Forum 2019 in Paris as follows. All these concerns around Libra are serious, so I want to say this with a lot of clarity. I want to be absolutely clear. In these conditions, we cannot authorize the development of Libra on European soil. And he's not just standing against Libra because of the threat to the monetary sovereignty of France and the rest of the Eurozone. He also asked for this in June. He asked for guarantees from Facebook that Libra would not be exploitable for illicit activities such as terrorism financing. And guys, that's a really hard thing to ask of a currency because frankly, guys, the euro is used for terrorism financing. The US dollar is used for terrorism financing. Heck, you could even say gold is used for terrorism financing. Anything can be used for terrorism financing. So this is kind of just a catch-all, ha, gotcha argument that a lot of regulators like to use against cryptocurrencies because, oh no, it's going to be used for terrorism financing. Any currency is going to be used for terrorism financing. There's no way to stop that completely. Certain precautions can be put in place, and if they don't limit the ability of the currency to do what it was set out to do, then they should be put in place. Obviously, no one likes terrorism, but that's a very high and, quite frankly, very unrealistic expectation of anything that has currency in its title. Anyway, guys, that is not only going to affect Libra. Like I said, the Eurozone constitutes a quarter of the gross domestic product of the planet, nearly $20 trillion in gross domestic product. It's also important because this same argument is going to be applied to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the coming decade. Mark my words, I promise you it's going to happen. Other finance ministers, other presidents, other chairmen, other leaders, other prime ministers, they're going to be saying the exact same thing against Bitcoin when Bitcoin starts to get as much news as Libra has right now. They're going to say, and they've already said in many cases, that this currency threatens the monetary sovereignty of their state. And to be quite honest, you can't blame them for saying that. That is their job, is to maintain the sovereignty of their state, and cryptocurrency's job is to kind of usurp that. The question is, will Bitcoin and other currencies be able to get around the blockades that these different countries are going to put up to try and stop cryptocurrencies from taking over that sovereignty and putting it back in the hands of the people? If we do truly live in a democracy, then in fact that will be possible, and in fact it probably won't be that hard, but that's a question that only time will tell. Anyway, guys, I do want to mention one more article here before we wrap up. The United States is trying to ban e-cigarettes, or excuse me, President Trump is apparently trying to ban e-cigarettes, and you guys know that I'm completely apolitical as far as this channel is concerned, so I'm not going to be touching on that with a 10-foot pole. But the reason that people in cryptocurrency have been talking about this is because of something Thomas Lee said on Twitter. He said this is unrelated, but shows that the White House can issue an executive order banning anything and could even ban Bitcoin. Not expecting it, but with current White House, there is nothing out of bounds nor out of reach. What he's essentially saying is that since executive power has grown quite substantially in the last, well, really the last 100 years, but especially in the last 50, the White House, should it become hostile to Bitcoin, with just a couple of pen strokes, make a big impact on the Bitcoin market. I don't think that Trump can necessarily just say, okay, Bitcoin is now banned, but he could come pretty close. So keep an eye out for this. This isn't me fudding. It's probably not going to happen. Like Thomas Lee said, he's not expecting it. I'm not expecting it either. I don't think Trump, frankly, cares that much about Bitcoin, but it might be a good idea for Bitcoin to fly a little under the radar until someone a little more friendly to cryptocurrency is in the White House. Like I said, guys, I mention this every time traditional politics comes up. If you think you know what my political opinions are, you're wrong, because I didn't state any. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CryptoJeb. I'm trying to be a lot more active over there. You can read my credentials here on why you should follow me. But anyway, guys, before we wrap the video up, of course, I do want to remind you about the sale going on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. For a limited time only, you're getting a $40 off coupon code on CT2A, and that really is a limited time only, because after this sale is concluded, the price of CT2A is going to be increasing from $199 most likely to $249. So if you are trying to get into the cryptocurrency market and you want to learn everything you need to know about doing technical analysis in these markets, because quite frankly, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be profitable. The vast majority of traders and investors are not. You need to know what you're doing. Then you should heavily consider joining us at CT2A. Guys, there are over 850 students in the academy right now. In fact, I just checked, the exact number is 857. So if you want access to over 10 hours of content, 34 videos and counting as we add more and more this week, check us out at the link in the description down below. Like I said, if you want a taste of what the course is like, you can click the link down there and you can come and watch how to spot a winning indicator and pattern. Love this video, and this is exactly what the rest of these videos in this course are like. You're going to be getting access to nearly 40 of these, as we're always adding more content, and the people that are in the course get access to all current and all future content for one price. You never pay for new content, it comes to you for free after you're a student. The new video for today will be Fibonacci retracement. That's going to be going up a little bit later because it's not done being edited yet, but that video will be coming, and then another video will be coming out tomorrow as well. Guys, people love the course. I just had someone on Twitter say, really enjoying CT2A and the YouTube videos, and he asked me a question about CT2A, which I then went ahead and answered. If you want, you can join the Discord server down below and talk to dozens of different people that are in the course, see what they think, get their honest opinion, and then use that to educate your own decision. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I really do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always. I'm gonna go get some more coffee. Peace.